What is going on, everybody? Welcome to today's show sessions. I'm your host, Joseph Sunderman, Creative Tech, not the Creative Tech, just a Creative Tech, just like the rest of you. And here we are, turning down some music here, because that's can get very loud and obnoxious, and me talking over that. We're getting better at this. We're trying to anyway. So, today is the 29th episode of Sessions here with the Creative Tech. And like I said, I'm not the Creative Tech. I'm just a Creative Tech like the rest of you. If you're watching this and you're living life with some intent and you have a direction you're wanting to go, well, that's living with intent. And if you're using technology to watch videos and do stuff like that, well, you're a creative technologist in my eyes. So you're somebody that's trying to live life with technology. And if you do consider yourself a creative tech and you practice some of these concepts we talk about here and the frameworks we have for the creative tech, it might help you get aligned on what it is you do, because we all are on this planet. We're all on this big rock floating through space, trying to survive and make the best of the experience while we're here. So why not take the opportunity to evolve a little, find something that gives you fulfillment. And if you're not already getting validation from those you around you every day and from what you do, then, you know, mental health is a very important thing to me and to those that I work with and care about. And I want to see all of us thriving in a workplace or a personal life that really, it puts us in our desired state, allows us to live comfortably and happily. And it's not always about comfort. You know, sometimes to be comfortable, you have to be able to be uncomfortable. You know, we talk about that stuff a little bit here too, but really all it is just understanding. In today's session, which is a big one, we're talking about strategy. And to me, strategic planning and strategizing how you approach things and having a strategy. You can have a strategy for today, you can have a strategy for life. It's a huge thing. And when we talk about it today here in the session, we're focused on creative techs working in the creative field with technology to some capacity, any field really, and how we can approach it properly. And how do you approach things, especially things you can't control? So today's session on strategy, you know, why is strategy so important to us here at the Creative Tech? Well, you know me, Joseph Sunderman. I'm a control freak. That's what people say. And I could see back in the days when I was earlier on in my journey, before I matured, I would say I was very self-centered. I wasn't too concerned about external. I just needed this thing done. I need this result. You're here, help bring that to life, without regards to not validating the person helping, not validating them as an individual. Now, that's not 100% true. I'm not, you know, autopilot jerk. It's more, we all have an agenda, and learning true leadership, learning that being aware of those around you and ensuring that the experience is good for them and that you're getting them behind your mission, not just telling them what to do and bossing them around, but truly making it something for them. Yeah, all these things are connected. And if it sounds like I'm talking in circles and a bunch of jibber jabber, blah, 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 that's because it is. This whole creative tech concept that I have here with these sessions that has one focus and three topics. The premise of this whole thing, it's a lab. I have a business that I've started back in 2019, been running for 5 years now. And I knew that I would have to do video, social media, marketing, business development, sales, all of that stuff, right? Promotions, ads. What do you say? Make video. What do you say in the video? What are you trying to get people to say or do? Or what call to action do you have for them when they go to your website? All this stuff. You know, I know that I need to get good at all that. Our clients want us to be good at that. So the best way for me to do that is to become the authority in it, to become the one that, we're getting our website put up for our businesses. We're getting, social media started. We're learning how to stream talk online. I'm not doing this under the Icora brand. We started the Creative Tech because we needed a lab to practice and figure this out. I wasn't going to create a lab that was just some Acme company and, it fall to the wayside. So I needed it to be able to actually be a model that might actually, that way I'm putting effort into something that could actually grow into something that helps the overall big picture strategy, right? So my strategy is simple. If I lead by example, meaning I have my services I provide and the frameworks I want them to adopt and the quality of communications both internally and externally, if I want all that my clients to be adopting these things, I have to be living by example. I have to show them that, look, I can do it. I'm doing it over here, so let me do it for you. Now, marketing and business development and sales and things of that nature, that's not something we're currently it's not currently in the budgets that we manage, at least not to the level of what I want to do on the marketing side. So before I can start charging my clients this money, I have to get good at it to where I'm actually providing them a good service to where I feel confident taking their money for me doing this. So started this channel here, and we use the framework from our business Icora's sessions, which is our training program. It's a holistic training program for our company internally. It allows them to bring their employees together quarterly, yearly, whatever the frequency, whatever the desired state for the company. And every company's different. So, yeah, I'm excited about helping people find their desired state, helping align their tech stack with their workforce to get the most out of their identity. All these cool little taglines that we're creating are just organically coming to fruition because the strategy we have is allowing everything to unfold and unpack in front of us as we go forward. It really is quite beautiful. And the better I get at messaging what I'm doing and talking to this camera about what I'm doing, the more I can summarize it up in the focus with the 3 topics. And this 1 week, weekly exercise, once a week, weekly exercise allows me to practice saying what it is we're doing. And from episode 1 until today, it's gotten so much easier. Still struggling, still trying to figure out the best ways for things here and there, but the foundational stuff, the groundwork's been laid. Now we're innovating. Now we're inventing. Now once you have the framework, now you're free to just go wherever you want to go. And this is why I try to tell my clients at their own workplace. If you have great internal communications and you take care of your employees, that same thing will happen internally. Your employees will get behind your mission and start working for you, as opposed to you having to pay them and pull them, like, make sure you do your job. Like, no, that's the wrong way to approach it. Get them excited about their job. Let them know, hey, everybody, we have these big plans coming up, so make sure you guys do a good job on the day-to-day today, so that way we meet our goals up here, because we meet these goals, we're all going to be XYZ. That's how you get people to be like, shit, yeah, I'm a part of this big system. I'm helping meet this goal. I need to perform today. As opposed to, hey, I pay you, so you do your job. Let me know how that works out for you in the long run. All right. So today's show strategy, we're talking about control, why control. We'll get into in a minute. Second one being alignment. We need to align your tech stack with your workforce so you get the best identity. And then we're going to talk about anchors. That's the third topic. How do you, as the audience, the creative techs, embody the modern workforce? How is the second topic. What do you take away is the third topic. What do the creative techs viewing this take away today? Anchors. I want you to know about anchors. They're very important. If you start using anchors in your life, you're gonna start. That's strategizing. That's having a strategy. And the first topic that we're going to get into today. And see, now that we started a half hour late today. By the way, 29th episode. Next week is the 30th episode, which is a pretty big milestone to me. You know, I remember hitting 10 episodes thinking, wow, that's a lot. 20 episodes thinking, wow, that's double. Now I'm going to hit 30 episodes. I'm like, wow, that's triple. Cool, right? Oh, anyway. Again, my name is Joseph Sunderman. I am the Creative Tech, and this is a Icora lab. Don't forget that the Creative Tech is a lab under the Icora group. Icora owns the Master Tech Plan, and the Master Tech Plan is a beautiful piece of framework and a great practice, a great service that you should pay $10,000 a month for from your company. If you don't think it's possible, then you're not a visionary. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing, everybody. All right, topic 1, control. Why is strategy so important to the Creative Tech? Well, strategy right now is what we really have to be honed in on. What is my strategy for the Creative Tech in our mission to foster a culture of continuous improvement in education globally? Well, let's start with what we can and can't do. More importantly, let's go a little bit later. Let's go a few layers deeper. Let's get to the core of this thing. What can you control and what can't you control? Or what is within your control and what is outside of your control? Because as somebody that's been called a control freak, somebody that wants everything to be super neat, as a type A personality, I am very empathetic to others and what they want and how they feel when they work with me. I've always been an empath, and if I ever felt somebody upset with them, even when I was blind to how I was affecting others while I was working with them because I was so focused on the results. Controlling yourself, being a control freak, can be a good thing. When I think people say control freak and why it has such a negative, why it's framed in a negative light, is because what we consider a control freak, to me, is somebody that's trying to control things that they can't or shouldn't be controlling. Like if somebody's trying to tell you what to do, where to go, how to be, and they don't have there's no alignment, no expectations, and you haven't said, hey, listen, I'm going to be here for you. You tell me what to do, I'm going to do it. That's what I'm here for. So a control freak to me is somebody that controls things that they can't control. And I am a control freak. I will admit that I'm a control freak. I'm a control freak to say, hey, control what you can control. And if you can't control it, you stay out of it. It's not within your control. And if you want to control it, there's ways to control things. Again, we're getting to strategy, right? What is the strategy to control to get the outcomes that you want? Well, I want my employees to be more respectful at work. Well, what can you control? Can you control how they act? No. So you can't control whether they're going to be respectful or not. The things within your control is how you deal with those. If you own the company, if you're running things, if you're managing things, they work for your company. You can control who works there and who doesn't work there. you could let them go for being disrespectful. I mean, obviously, I think you have to have some form of get with your lawyer or your HR person, because there are restrictions and every state's different. Every policy, every company has a different set. And I'm not a lawyer. So before you go getting fired or doing something stupid, no, what I'm telling you is if you look at what you can't control versus what you can't control, you will find creative ways. When you start to apply the frameworks of objectives versus matters, and that's really what objectives are: things you can control. Matters are things that fuck with your life. They come in and they say, hey, listen, you thought life was going to go this way. Well, watch this. And if you do not have a solid desired state where you know where you want to be someday or what you're working towards, if you don't have that, you're basically driving blind through life. And we call the things I'm talking about, like for me, there's a few anchors I have in my life. We're going to jump ahead and get to we're going to discuss some of topic 3, but we'll get into topic 3 more when we get to topic 3. But topic 3 today is anchors. And what anchors are, these are the true north. These are the things that we refer to. It could be for dealing with a matter. There's going to be anchors in dealing with that matter. Like, what's the problem? Who does it affect? These are anchors. These are objective facts. These are true statements. And when you look down the road, what are some anchors we can use to keep us aligned moving forward towards that goal? For me, having a beach house right you walk out the back door of the house, down a few steps maybe, and then you're in sand. And right across that sand is a big body of water that we like to call an ocean. That is something that is, whether it's a condo in some big duplex of some sort where we, share this big, huge, beautiful place, but we get to walk out to the beach whenever we want. We can go stay there whenever we want because it's our condo or it's our home. Preferably like a nice little beach house somewhere, which would be nice and cute, but I'm sure it's not cheap. But that's one of the anchors that we have. And to have a nice condo here in Cincinnati, like a beautiful one right on the riverfront overlooking the city skyline. When we're retiring, or when we're in our 60s and 70s and we're slowing it down, we're going to be overlooking the city, going to our beach house, enjoying vacations with the family and holidays with the family. And my wife and I, in between all that, will be traveling the world, taking people on workshops, taking amazing journeys through amazing places in the most comfort that you can imagine, just to rough it up a little bit during night. I told the wife, I was like, I don't think at 60 and 70 we're going to be sleeping out in tents while, playing with gear all day long. We'll probably have a really nice, like, tour bus looking thing. Yeah, something along it'll be nice. We're going to make sure it's comfortable, but we're going to go out there and go to Pompeii and get like a totality eclipse shot with the ruins underneath, like epic things that happen in this world. We're wanting to travel. We're going to look at the calendar, see all the big epic things coming down the pipeline, whether it's a natural thing or like the solar eclipse or something like that. Whatever it is, we're going to be mindful, and we're going to find our voice on those kind of trips, and we're going to charge people to come along with us excess amounts of money, so that way when they come with us on the trip, there's going to be a certain amount of deliverables. There's going to be certain expectations that they're going to have. Like, you're going to be able to spend 2 nights in the most exotic place and be able to have photography lessons and learn how to do photography and take time lapses and images of beautiful places. Like, this is my life strategy. These are things that I want in life. These are anchors. And I can control what I can control. If I can't control it, well, guess what? I can't control it. If I know where I'm going to my desired state, I look at objectives as things I control. How am I making money? How much money can I make? How do I balance my work life while I'm working towards those anchors? How can I make sure that I'm not working too much that way I can enjoy the now? I don't want my kids to be grow up and be out of the house before I look up like, oh shit, I'm not at my desired state yet. So I was trying to get there so we can enjoy traveling stuff. No, you got to do that now. You can't wait till then to do this shit. You need to do it now. So I have to think about objectives and matters to help me stay on course towards that. A kid breaks his arm during football practice while I'm trying to go to a startup event and XYZ. All these things happening in the today. We know where we're going in the future, but how do we ensure that's going to happen and keep the craziness here going? And there's certain things you do. My wife and I, we work as a great team, so we know what we can control between the two of us and what we can't control. And we know when things are happening that we can't control. Like, for instance, let's say we're a large blended family. My wife and I, people don't understand how crazy our lives are. But with 6 kids in a blended family, I have 2 kids from a previous marriage. She has 2 kids from previous marriage, or 4 kids from a previous marriage. You put that together, we're the flipping Brady bunch here. 3 boys, 3 girls. And there's a lot of interference from the other households. There's certain parents that will work with the other households in a cordial way for the kids' benefits. But then you get to certain people that are so miserable and upset at life that their only enjoyment they get, because they have no career, nothing to do other than maybe play games on their phone and eat, poop, and sleep. The issue with this is that we can't control what happens when they're not there. And when the kids come into our house and they act a certain way, we can't control how our kids act. We can steer it. And it's really difficult because the negative things coming in and the way the frameworks that the children are using are not coming from them. They're just kids. They're just surviving. Oh, these are struggles that my wife and I have went through. Still deal with it to this day. And we both have parents on the other side that it feels as if they prefer friction than they do collaboration. But hey, we can't control that. How do you deal with people you can't control? Well, you don't let their rhetoric, you don't let their words bother you. And I used to. Back before I did my transformation, absolutely. But let me tell you a little bit about my transformation. I was very bitter and angry at the world. I worked so hard to get on my own 2 feet, to go to college, to get a degree, to have babies. I have babies with parents that are very angry and immature, and realizing that I want to be a good father. I want to have a good life. I want to have a nice home. I never thought I'd have a home like I have today. I never thought I'd have my own company. I thought I'd be dead by 50. That could still happen, by the way. For me, life is a journey, and I did not like the path I was going down. And I transformed it, and I feel like I'm doing really well. I'm trying to slow down and tell everybody that if I could freaking do it, and I'm telling you right now, a lot of the things that I do, I'm all over the place. I have ADHD. It's hard for me to sit down and focus. Let's put it that way. Yeah. So understanding what you can't control, what you can't control, will allow you to. You have to accept the things you can't control. If your kids are jerks, you have to accept that that's just how they are. And once you do accept that, and you start holding them accountable for their actions, like I can't help it that a kid likes to make up lies, right, or make up stories about things. Used to, you would get the reactions, and it would cause the chain reactions, and it would help certain situations on. And this could be a business thing, like if you have a client where you have somebody that signs a big multi-million-dollar deal with you, and you're working with a point of contact within that business, and you start to have friction with that point of that contact, who controls that overall contract between you and that company? Is it that main point of contact? Because if it is, it doesn't matter if they work for this big company, that person is the one that has the control over whether that contract's living or not. So whether you are right or wrong, this person dictates things. Now, I'm not saying just to go against your values or your principles. If this person's in the wrong and you're holding your ground, money's not everything. That's a bad analogy. I don't. Very ill prepared for these shows as normal. What I do know is that I've taken the things we can control and the things we can't control, and I've created a system out of them called objectives versus matters. I started this with my service desk. Matters go to the technicians, those are the problems, those are the tickets. Things we can't control, like modifications, changes, adds, whatever it is to their tech plan, well, that's an objective. Those are things we can't control. Someone's printer quit working, not part of the plan, unexpected, it's a matter, out of our control. We got to get it fixed, deal with it now. We know how to deal with it. Because we broke things down from objectives versus matters, and we put all of our matters over here, we now know how to deal with those matters. Objectives are over here. These are the things we can't control, and we're putting them through our strategic planning system. These are things that go bump in the night and we can't control, and this is the team and crew that takes care of those things. That's how I took in what we can't control, what we can't control as a business, and created 2 workflows and funnels for them. And that's why, for the modern workforce, I think it's important that we understand what we can't control and what we can't control. And as I develop and get better at explaining why this is so true, I'll keep you all posted. There's been so many deltas, this whole thing. It's unreal. And I love it because it's like playing music. It really is. I still play guitar and piano quite a bit. And every time I play, I get a little bit better. I try to do something a little bit more complex or a little bit more structured. Or I notice that that thing that was super complex and overly structured before is now simple and easy for me to do. And that's part of that gradual, continuous improvement. Operational excellence, all those fun buzzwords, everybody. That's what we're doing here at the Creative Tech. Hoo-yah! All right, half hour in, let's jump into the second topic, which is alignment. Now, as a creative technologist, somebody that wants to work in a professional or creative career, and how do you ensure that you're aligned? Your personal brand. Are you aligned with yourself and your personal brand? Do you have your desired state figured out? Your desired state would be like, what's your financial desired state for when you're 50, when you're 70? What's your desired relationship state? Your desired work state, your desired vehicle state, your desired living state, your desired children state, your desired pet state. I would say another 20 years from now, neither of you little bastards will be around, but will be sorely missed. And I would assume with my pet, yeah, as far as pets go, my desired state would be to have other loving little brats. I'm about to go over there and start hugging on my babies. I love them so much. All right. What am I thinking now? I'm thinking alignment is a big subject, and there's a lot to it. And how do I break it down for you? Well, the best way for me to alignment, all the alignment is if you're here watching this right now, you're probably like, why the hell should I be watching this? Well, if you're asking that, then you're not aligned, and we should try getting aligned. And if we do get aligned and it works out in a positive, great. Continue watching. If we're not aligned, if the show doesn't make sense to you and you're not like feeling the vibe, or Joe's just not ready yet, which I think that's why there's a big 0 up next to the current viewers. But to align with somebody and to be on the same page means that you're agreeing, that you're agreeable, that they're agreeing with you, and that you have a clear understanding with each other. You're aligned. And what we notice is the workforces at our, a lot of our teams that we support now, out of the 40 plus companies, 700 users. Oh, I don't want the way I want to break it down. Yeah, there's so many different ways to break this down. And I don't even know where to begin. This is why we need to make sure we have some form of an agenda for the show, and you're not putting it together. I don't know if everybody noticed, but it's a half hour late today. Today's show was not at 1 o'clock. It was at 1:30. I need to start putting a grade after every show. How did I do? Do I feel like I did a 1 out of 10? Did I do a 4, a 3, a 2, a 1? All right. Let's get a line, Joseph. You're all over the place. Let's line it back up. See what I did there? Alignment. There's 3 core pieces that we want to align with the creative tech. There's 3 main focuses with the creative tech. And it's how I kind of organically grew through this. I'm sure there might be more to the model later, but for right now, it's just these 3 things. It's your tech stack, your workforce, and your identity. Those are the 3 things we want to align. Now, that's on the business side. That's what iCore does. And we're taking this model to the creative tech for individuals. Now, creative tech works on professional brands. So teams down to the individuals. Creative tech is working with the individuals up to the teams. See how that makes sense there, maybe? I don't know. Bottom line is, by taking the structure that we have for a professional brand, applying that to a individual could be very powerful if you do the framework right. Now, I would still say we stick with the tech stack, with the workforce, and the identity. What would that look like for an individual? Well, we'll start with tech stack. We all have a personal life and a professional life. Especially someone that owns their own business, those things get a little muddied. Especially with your own business. I said that backwards. These things get a little bit muddy, especially when you own your own business. Because you are your own business. Like why would I use a Gmail account when I have my own blah 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 business account? Well, great question, and I've learned that I've actually wanted to do something different than having just a Outlook account or a Gmail account, but I didn't want to use my iCore account. I definitely want a personal identity. And I have a josephsunderman.com domain, I believe. And I am going to have like a me at josephsunderman.com, where you can email me at josephsunderman.com. But that's my personal brand. That's my personal. At the moment, it's Google, iCloud, Microsoft. I got it across the board with my personal. All the services out there with my personal account is for me and my personal usage. Business wise, my tech stack is a little bit more cleaner, but I still have to have everything because when you're in technology, you need to be able to get your hands in a little bit of everything. So we have accounts for everything. We have a lot of paid accounts for a lot of things, but we don't want to have paid accounts for everything, right? It's just a lot to balance, man. Alignment's important for strategy because you want to align your tech stack with your workforce. It needs to align with them. So when we think of you as an individual, when we think of workforce, it's you and how you engage with other personal brands. That's where that comes in. When we look at tech stack, it's how does your personal technology interact with your professional? And they shouldn't. You may apply through the job using your personal account, but once they give you an identity, everything you do with that company should be done through that identity. And if you're going to do something outside of that business identity, especially if you don't want it tied to your work, you should be doing that on your personal accounts. Yep. Now, when we look at workforce, I told you that's a little bit about how your personal brand affects other personal brands. Tech stack, you want your tech stack to be solid. And what are your hobbies? Do you like to be creative on your personal time? Like who and what do you do? And you're going to have a tech stack for that. Now, when you get involved with a professional stack, you may have a professional software through your business, but you don't necessarily want to pay for that same service through your personal account. Now, when you own a company, you're the owner of the account. I'm sure you can manage crossing over some of your tech stack from your workings. And if you become a freelancer, start really working and having your own company, having some kind of way to compartmentalize what's my personal versus what's my professional. For me, I like to have everything that I do personally stored in my iCloud. Everybody is different with where they store their stuff. For my business, it's on Microsoft SharePoint. So aligning my tech stack to work for me and allowing it to work with other clients and other people. Oh, I'm going to have to take this in the middle of a show, ain't that? Okay, that was my fault. I totally forgot to ask him if we can talk at 2:30 because my show is supposed to be from 1 to 2. Obviously, I was running behind, so it's 1:30 to 2:30 today. And I forgot to say, hey, can we meet at 2:30? I meant to send him an invite, pushing it back, and yeah. Right now, I'm aligning some things right now, and I'm getting my strategy together because I've gotten a lot better. And I know these shows seem a little bit. They should be showing you quite a bit. If you're paying attention, you're observant, you're going to kind of pick up on some things of how chaotic and crazy things are. But I'm getting there. We have some exciting budgets coming, potentially. I'm being patient. I'm waiting on them. And yeah, things are going really good. So, I just need to get these frameworks done. I think a lot of times if I did, it's getting better. It's like it's coming to a tip. It's coming to a point. It's the things I know I need to do. If I just block off time on my calendar, which I do, I'm getting better with manager time versus maker time, and filling my manager time up with getting all the meetings out of the way and structured hours to do certain things. There's just a lot to everything that we're doing here, and I can't do it alone. I really need a dream team, and I know I have a dream team. It's just not here yet. It's taking care of Icora. I know if I keep plugging away at this lab, we will have our dream team. That's you, Creative Techs. Eventually, I'll have this down to where Creative Techs are saying, "Hey, this is actually kind of cool. This is helping me get here or there." I actually have a few Creative Techs already. I got a Trey. I got to get him his damn Trey. I'm sorry I haven't gotten you your desired state questionnaire yet. Yeah, we're going to take a quick break and then talk about where we are with the Creative Tech. So we're going to make some improvements to our database. The database is going to have a form people fill out. We're going to update the form. We have our alpha, the 3 steps for Creative Tech. What do you mean? You don't know what the 3 steps are? Well, let's talk about it real quick. First step is we want you to join the tribe. We don't really have a mailing list or anything. We're signing up HubSpot, and I don't know if we're going to start keeping it in there, but we want to know who you are and have you locked in as a tribe member. So please join the tribe by going to tribe.creativetech.ai. If you have already done that, or you're going to do that, but you want to know what the second step is, step 2 is we want to know about you. We want to know where you are on your journey. We want to know about your personal brand and the professional brands that you work with. So tell us about yourself by going to align.creativetech.ai. Fill out our form, and it'll align you guys with our database, and we'll take a look at your stuff and see where you fit in and see what Creative Techs are aligned with, that which ones are most aligned with you. And if you want to take it a step further, go to step 3, which would be going to our sessions or session.creativetech.ai. Schedule your free session. This will allow you, and you can do an hour or 15 minutes if you have your desired state ironed out. You just need you have a few questions on getting steered in the right direction. 15 minutes is fine. Probably have it all done within 15 minutes. But if you want to sit down and do a deep dive, fill out the form, and do all this other stuff, give us that hour. We'll probably need to go over the hour, but we'll be good about scheduling another session and moving forward. And in the current season we're in, we're doing free sessions right now. The first one's definitely free, depending on always up until the end of 2024. Come January 2025, we'll reevaluate. I'm assuming it's going to be free until 2026. Just based off my strategy, based off how the business is working and where everything's going. That's what I think. But no. Yeah. So I'm going to jump into, before I get into the third topic, which is anchors. I hope it's pretty self-relevant what alignment means and how important it is to be aligned with your tech stack, to understand it fully and how to use it properly. If you don't, that's something for you to work on. To understand what your workforce is, how you have a personal brand. Align that personal brand with who you truly are, your desired state. And think about the professional brands. Where would you work at? How do you see your personal brand fitting in with that professional brand? Come up with professional brands or businesses you'd want to do, or, more importantly, what is the job? What are you supposed to do? And we want to make sure you enjoy that. And then we get into identity. Identity is a tough one for the individual, because it's not like you have an internal team site that you talk to yourself with and keep everything on track. And you could create some kind of personal SharePoint site or document that you refer to internally. I think you should have something that, documents to some degree. But when we say communications for a company and we say internal communications versus external communications, that's referring to, internal communications is how do you share information with your team? How do you do it consistently? And can somebody go back and see an old message easily, going to a web page or something along those lines? Is that important to your company? Well, for an individual, it's a little different. It's how do you frame these things internally? Internal communications for the individual is internal frameworks. How do you see yourself? How do you frame yourself? Are you confident with yourself? Do you find yourself attractive? Do you find yourself strong? Or do you have a lot of issues with your self-esteem and things of that nature? Because these are things that we need to improve on. We need aligned on those things and aligned in a positive, healthy way. How do you present yourself externally? How do you talk about yourself? How do you project your voice when you're talking? These are things that we can work on. If they are, as we evaluate these things, it lets us know what we need to be focused on and how our strategy allows us to strategize and start focusing on the things that will help us get to our desired state. This is not rocket science. This is just being able to clearly articulate what it is you do and don't like. And if you don't know, well, then we got to do some experimentation and play around some and get you familiar. And that's what childhood's for, right? You play sports, you do all these different things, you have all these different classes. You're trying to figure out where you're going, but it's so crazy. So many adults go through life and they don't even know what the hell it is their purpose or why they're here. I'm not a religious person, and I know you have a purpose, so much so that I believe it as if it was religion. And if you don't have that drive to do it, there's probably some kind of suppression or depression going on. Because I'm telling you, the human race, we want to get out there and get it done. That's the natural order. Curious, bold, and humans are pretty wild creatures. All right, so alignment's important because you need to know. You need to align yourself so that way you're aligning with your personal goals. You align your identity, your personal identity, with your technology that you use, and with the way you frame your brand and how it interacts with other brands. All that is around alignment. That's why it's so important. And that's how we strategize here. We focus on those three things and go to a person or a company and help them focus on those three things and improve and align those three things to be. There's no 100% perfect or 100% horrible. There's like this. It's a living thing. It's breathing. It's like a business is a machine or an entity, and you take its heart out, it'll die. You take away its data, it'll die. You take away, its brains, it won't be able to operate. You take away all their leadership teams, it won't be able to operate. Yeah. Business is simple. It's just like a person. You gotta make sure that person's healthy, that it's exercising. When I say exercising, I mean like doing meetings and trainings and things of that nature to help stay fit. And as a individual, how do you ensure that happens for you? When do you take the time to say, okay, let's take an assessment, a self-assessment of where I am. How do I feel? Where do I want to go? Maybe I'll do a video and do assessment on myself, just to throw myself out there and be vulnerable. And yeah, we'll see if that makes for an interesting concept for moving forward with shows or something. I don't know. But we are going to do spotlights here soon too. All right, so last 10 minutes, we're going to talk about our last topic, which is anchors. Yes, we're going to talk about anchors. Give me a second. So today's show is on strategy. I asked myself, what is it that's going on this week? What have we not talked about yet in a previous session that's going on this week? That would be a good overall subject for today, the focus for today. And strategies seem to come up because I have been doing a lot of strategizing this week. I'm always strategizing, but it's been particularly important this week. Why is strategy so important to what we're doing right now? Is because we got to get control over certain things that we should have control over, but we don't have control over because in order for us to, we don't have control over our teammates. In order for us to get control over our business, we got to get our teammates aligned to be able to knock out this goal. We can't control our teammates. If we could all be aligned, though, we could control the outcome of this thing. I can only control what I can control. I can't tell everybody, hey, we're going to go do this thing. Let's go do it. I don't want to rely on that. I can't control on them. My anchor is getting the thing done. My anchor is knowing that I can get that done with that team, knowing this. Now, how do I get that team to do this thing over here? How do I control that? Well, what's within my control with that team that I can use to manipulate, which is a strategy. We all manipulate. You can use a policy. You can say, hey guys, here's a new addendum to an agreement that we need to have done by this date. There's so many different ways that we have, so many things within our control that we can do that can shift these guys or whoever to this objective. So knowing anchors is very important for strategy. Control is objectives versus matters. What you can control, what you can't control. That was the first topic towards strategy. You have to. Why is strategy so important? Because of control. You have to know what you can't control, what you can't control to get the best strategy. How do we use strategy and control in the creative tech? Well, we do that by aligning everybody with their tech stack and their identity. The workforce has to be aligned with their tech stack. If they don't know how to use their technology, it's not going to work out. So, anchors are what you need to know to take away from today's episode in order for you to understand what you can't control, what you can't control, and for you to align your personal brand with your tech stack and how you communicate. Some visuals for this would be huge, especially if I put in a presentation that made sense from point to end and wasn't all over the place. But I'm working on that. You're watching this thing literally be developed. It's all developed for the business side. I'm creating it for the personal side, and I'm showing you all this as I do this. I know the show's all over the place. I know I took a call. This is raw. This is me showing you me working. I'm trying to give value in talking about how we're moving forward and how we're able to do all this. It may not seem like a success at the moment, but when we go to show everybody the tracker, which I didn't pull any screens up today, when I show them the show tracker that we've been tracking every show, There's a bunch of columns that give us all this information. You're going to see the delta from when we started with no concept, no nothing other than us just having the title. There was no descriptor, for the first 5 weeks. And then eventually we're like, you know what, we probably should have something in the description. We now need to add links. That way we have a call to action to people. Okay, we should probably put some hashtags in there. You see these improvements over the weeks. And we're 30 weeks every week. Boom, 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 boom. I think this is the 5th incident today out of those 29 weeks where I had to push it back a day or an hour late here. Yeah, there's been a handful of times where I couldn't be here exactly. 2 days I missed because I was on a vacation for 2 weeks, but I don't count those 2 days. It's actually been 32 weeks, but I've only done 30 episodes. This is the 29th episode. Next week will be 30. What big change are we making in 30? I would have to commit to that. And we talk about commitment in one of these shows somewhere. I don't remember. But I do know that today I feel good that we had the focus. I kind of talked in circles around each topic. Not that great, but I did talk about each topic. Anchors, I'm being a little bit vague on yet. I don't think I've talked about that quite enough. So another way we use anchors here for strategy is when you have a team you're working with, you want to have a centralized place for them to get to the most projects today have documentation. There's going to be a document on the team site. Well, for these clients, there's a document. Yeah, what am I talking about? Document on the team site. Anchors essentially is a place that you would have a centralized list or something. For instance, if you were to, I am so tired, and I'm a little bit out of it. Your true north, your true anchor data is going to be the data that you put. What's the best way for me to explain it? This is really good that I'm running into this problem. I'm thinking about a lot of things right now. Like, God, this show's almost over. Do I really want to explain this? Like, there's a lot going on in my head right now. So we're doing this live. If you have a team working on a project, you don't want this person to have a list of the data and this person to have a list of data, or you don't want to email somebody the spreadsheet and say, hey, can you see what you think of this and send me your thoughts? Because eventually passing that thing around, it's almost like that, you got a line of people, you whisper something in the first person's ear, and by the time it gets to the other end, it's completely different. I just think it's important that we all have a piece of data that we go to and look at. And that is the true data. In fact, it's a requirement, part of our strategy. If we're working on an objective or matter and we haven't ran into that matter or objective yet, if it's not in our system somewhere yet that we've done this thing, then us doing it right now would be us documenting it. So document it and put it in the system so that way we have that piece of the system documented. And what we were trying to do for so long was, let's build all this up so that way we can start using it and trying to get it all done. And every time we try to get something big built, get everybody to adopt it, the training was so horrible. Like, it was. So what we did is we said, you know what? We're going to start doing piece by piece by piece. And now we're starting to get traction. Just like these shows, every week, making improvement. And you can see where I start to regress on some things. Like, I did have an agenda there for a minute, but it kind of fell to the wayside. I noticed that I wasn't using the agenda as much. So I was just using the descriptor. But that's not good enough. We still need something with the show, something like additional notes and I would love some graphics on the screen while I'm talking too. And I'm doing this live. So I kind of want to have a natural conversation to it anyway. All right. having your anchor data, having your anchors for your desired state, all these anchors are important. And we'll talk about these more as they get developed better and we find better ways to explain these things. And I'm not having burnout moments forgetting what I'm talking about while I'm talking about it. I need to get some sleep. I appreciate you, everybody. Keep it heavy. Keep it real. Peace.